Hey, what's up everybody? I'm JBFlintlock. In this video we're going to cover muzzleloader accessories. So in my last couple videos we looked at all the things about a gun and what you might want, you know, some of the things that if you're picking out a gun, what to look for, what certain terminology is, what it means, and what might be right for you. So let's just say you've got your gun now and you're ready to shoot it and clean it. What all do you need? So there's a lot of accessories out there, and we're just going to go through the basics, like bare minimum, what you should have on hand before your first time using it. So I've set up a second camera over here. We're going to give it a try. I'm going to try and show you, some of the things down on the bench. So probably the first and most important thing is cleaning. If you're not set up to clean, then you shouldn't be shooting, because you don't want to leave your gun dirty for an extended period. Black powder and black powder substitutes can be corrosive to the barrel. So a nice cleaning rod like this, or a range rod they call them, is a great investment. I like personally stainless steel because it doesn't corrode. I make my own. I put a nice handle on it. I put a pool ball on here, something that I can grab a hold of. So I use this for loading, cleaning, pulling the ball if necessary, anything like that. It has threaded end so that you can change the attachment for whatever you need. They typically come in two styles, or two thread pitches, 832 and 1032. The most important thing about any range rod is the slide or the barrel protector. So what it does is protect the muzzle of the gun from the hard metal, because you don't want the hard metal scraping against the relatively soft metal of the barrel. It'll erode it over time. So that is, probably your best friend. Now you can use the ramrod that comes in the gun, but I will give caution that whenever you're cleaning and doing some of the different steps, wooden can be difficult to grab a hold of and pull out of the barrel. Sometimes it'll get stuck down in there. During the loading process, there's a risk of the wood breaking, splitting, things like that. So if you're in a situation where you're able to use a range rod, I definitely would. Next is the ends that go onto the ramrod. So I have one here. I'm going to try and get it in camera. So what I like about these is they have this, the main area is the size of your bore, and then it has a tapered recess area here. What that allows for is, as the patch wraps around, it gives this excess patch material somewhere to go. If you just use a button style that only has this little end, what happens is the fabric goes up and gets stuck on the ramrod, and this is a real common one for you to get your ramrod stuck in the barrel. So a good brass end and cleaning solution. So I just have mine in a bottle of dish soap that I use, but I mix my own. When we get to the cleaning process, I'm going to share the recipe for my cleaning solution, and but there's a lot out there, so you can pick some up at the local gun shop. And some good cleaning patches. So I like to use cotton that I buy in bulk and cut down. I buy it by the yard, cut it down, and the reason I use white patching is so that I can see if I get the gun clean. I used to use cut up t-shirts. That was fine. It did the job, but I couldn't tell when I actually got it clean. So I like to have the white to tell me what's going on down in the barrel. That's just something that I've learned over time. Okay, so next we're going to start into some loading things that you're going to need for the loading process. First of all is a powder measure. So this powder measure here has an attached funnel. So it swings out of the way when you don't need it. It has a slide that changes the volume inside of the powder measure, and that's what allows you to change your charge. It has indications here for different grains of powder. This is a volumetric measure. This does not, this grains here, like say I have it set on 70 grains, that's volumetric, not by weight. The reason I like to use this particular measure is it fits in my powder dispenser. So I sell these powder dispensers. They come just as you see them here with the clamp and everything else. So it clamps onto a bench or a shooting box or whatever. But what you do is you flip it up like this. You would take this is an empty powder bottle, but you would take and thread the powder bottle on there, turn it up, mount it to whatever you'd like, and then your powder measure goes right inside, pushes against the spring-loaded stop, and just in this fashion, and it dispenses the powder out. So basically you can do it one-handed at the bench. These are available on my website, but I've used this particular powder measure for a lot of years. The other thing that I have, if you don't want to go that route, is a powder spout. So the powder spout threads onto a can of powder, and I sell them. They're threaded for Swiss and shoots and powder. Threads right onto the bottle and allows you to cover it. So that's the most important thing, is being safe whenever you're out, you know, at the range, things like that. You always want to keep your powder covered, whether it be in a bottle, you can put it into a powder horn or powder flask, but you always want to make sure that it's covered. So the other thing you're going to need is a ball starter. So I have this ball starter here. This is more common of what you're going to see. It has a short starter here to get the ball started, and then it has a length to drive the ball in to help get it started before your ramrod. This particular one, very much used, but it is stainless steel, so it has its own bore protector, has changeable ends, which is very nice. This is also a short starter, so I'll show it to you in this camera. So this is just a short starter. This is what I use most often to get the ball just below the muzzle, and then I use my heavy ramrod, push it down in one nice fluid motion. The other thing you're going to need is a knife. It can be a pocket knife, it could be, you know, a specialty knife. I happen to use a straight razor. I find that it's you know, very sharp and folds up nice, goes in my box or in my shooting bag, things like that. Comes in very handy for cutting patch material, things like that. Patch material. So you're going to need some patching. You can buy pre-cut patches, or you can buy material in bulk, like I do. I buy it and then just cut it into smaller chunks like this so that I can load. Now I cut all my patches at the muzzle. When we get into the loading process, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I don't use pre-cut patches. It's just a personal preference, and I think that there's some accuracy to be gained there. The other thing, for flintlock shooters, you're going to need a priming flask. So this priming flask, I'll show it down here, I carry on a lanyard around my neck typically, and it carries your fine 4F powder so that you can prime the pan. The way this one works is you depress the end when it's upright, and it dispenses some powder out. It even does it on its side. Also with it is a vent pick. So I feel that that's the two most important things that I always have with me, is the primer and the pick. So that's that. The other thing that's important for flintlock shooters is a knapping hammer. So this one here has a brass head. Most all of them have a brass head, and this one has interchangeable bits that I actually make these and sell them on my website, but it's able to be changed out for different size bits. But this is one that has the flat forged right into the end of it, so it fits your top jaw on your flintlock, so you can change flints out, things like that. They're very handy to have and keep a nice sharp flint. We're gonna talk a lot more about these as we go along. They're a very good tool. Last thing that I really have here on the bench is a hammer. So I use the head of a ball peen hammer. I find that it fits in my bag nice, fits in my box nice. I don't have the handle to deal with things like that. So when we get to the loading sequence, I personally load pretty tight. So for me, I need that hammer to short start the ball. So that's pretty much everything that you're going to need to get started as far as accessories. I'm going to put a list on, in the description of this video, so that you can kind of see exactly what it was that I went over. And if there's anything that I missed, feel free to comment below. You can always reach out to me on the contact page of my website. It's www.jbflintlock.com. If you like what I'm putting out here, give me a thumbs up. I encourage people to subscribe so that they can see the upcoming content that's coming out. And as always, thank you for your view, and safe shooting.